Well, hello there and welcome to Nowhere to Hide. I'm Brian Hyde and I'm with Ron Nate, who's president of the Idaho Freedom Foundation. Ron and I found a shady place to sit down and take a few minutes to talk a little bit about what lies ahead for the Idaho Freedom Foundation. I know for a fact you were very busy last week, plotting out a course for 2026. Talk to me about what's the agenda and what will IFF be focusing on?
Oh, sure. Happy to talk about it. Our IFF team meets every year to develop a freedom and family agenda for the coming legislative year. And so we had the opportunity to do that. Brian joined us. We had a whole team together, met for 2 days, and we have some great plans after listening to Idahoans from all over the state. Cutting taxes is the number one priority that we're hearing from most Idahoans. We want to cut taxes, abolish the property tax, reduce the income tax, get rid of the grocery sales tax. All of those would be great moves for Idahoans. Maybe save us billions of dollars. Billions of dollars, I say.
Oh, nobody wants that.
Of course, with cutting taxes comes cutting budgets. And our Idaho government has grown far too much, far too quickly. 60% growth in the last 6 years. It's a bit outrageous. We need to do some Argentina chainsaw style economics and cut our government back to what is probably more reasonable with a proper role of government here.
Now, today being Friday, the DOGE task force here in Idaho is supposed to be swinging into action. Tell me your thoughts on where their focus is, and for that matter, I'm trying to be optimistic. I really would love to see them make some meaningful cuts. Is that likely to happen?
My optimism is not high there.
Okay.
There's some things that need to be done. I think that we need to repeal Medicaid expansion, repeal Idaho Launch, repeal the $50 million a year spent on CTE, which is already a responsibility of schools. They shouldn't need extra money for it. We need to get rid of some agencies that have outgrown their usefulness or should have never been part of Idaho government to begin with. The Hispanic Commission, the Arts Commission, the Idaho Public Television. There are all private market solutions to all of those. And I think really what DOGE can do is look at paring back the amount of state employees. Idaho state government is the biggest employer in the state. That is not what limited government and maximum freedom mean. And so getting rid of a lot of positions, also consolidating some agencies, maybe getting rid of some agencies. Those are all in the purview of DOGE. But here's where my pessimism lies.
Okay.
There are 8 members of the DOGE committee. 7 of them scored Fs on the Idaho Spending Index. And that does not bode well. Scoring an F on the index, one of the members of the DOGE committee got a 0. In other words, they voted 100% for increasing government spending in all areas. So they have some work to do. I challenge them. Impress me. Prove me wrong. But I would like to see cuts in government, cuts in spending, and Idaho taxpayers and families be able to enjoy their wealth and their work more.
Ron, talk to me a little bit about the spending index, because I want people to understand this is not just some arbitrary score that somebody, wet their finger and, okay, which way is the wind blowing?
Good call.
Tell me about what goes into compiling the scores on that index.
Well, there's about 110 budget bills that come each year. Some of them just maintain the current spending, and then there's what we call enhancement budgets, which are add-ons. And we look at every single budget bill and we give it a rating based on our spending metrics. Does it add government employees? Does it add to spending? Does it continue a growth pattern that's unsustainable? We have I think 10 spending metrics. So we rate each bill. Then the legislators determine their own score and their own grade based on how they vote. So we're not grading legislators, we're rating bills, and the legislators determine their score. So it's a tried and true process where we have systematically come up with this process of rating bills. And it's unmatched. There's nothing like it in the state for tracking the fiscal responsibility or lack thereof of legislators.
Nice. Now, I understand that probably makes some uncomfortable when it becomes clear that, well, actually I am supporting more spending or supporting the expansion of government. But the point is there's an objective measure that does not take personalities or anything like that into account, but simply what does the bill do and did you support it or no?
That's exactly right. And so we just look at the bill. And so a legislator comes and says that their score or their grade is too low, we can look at it and say, which bill did you disagree with? Which rating did you disagree with? And they rarely come up with any positive answers that way. And so they would ask, how do we improve, how do I get my grade up? And my answer is pretty simple. It's 2 words: vote better, and you'll get a better grade.
Over the last weekend, as the Idaho Freedom Foundation team was working on setting that freedom and family agenda for 2026, there was something that became very apparent as I watched everybody working, and that is, you are working for someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to, for the record, give you the chance to tell our viewers, who does IFF work for?
IFF, thank you for the question. IFF works for the people of Idaho. We don't have a client that comes to us with a big bag of money and says, hey, pass Bill X. That just doesn't happen at the Idaho Freedom Foundation. We don't have somebody who brings us a bag of money and says, you need to kill this bill. What we do is we work for the people of Idaho. We develop our freedom and family agenda, cut spending, cut taxes, protect Idaho's sovereignty, protect us from the cost of illegal immigration, protect Idaho families from all the assaults on it. That's what we work for. We don't have clients that are based on getting policy that's favorable to them at the cost of the Idaho taxpayer. So call us a lobbyist, but we're not a lobbyist like most people think of lobbyists. We don't have people paying us a lot of money to get X, Y, and Z accomplished. We're just fighting for freedom, and therefore a lot of Idahoans partner with us because they know the good work we do.
All right. Anything else you would like our viewers to know?
The Idaho Freedom Foundation has been the standard bearer of freedom and liberty principles for over 15 years now. Every year we produce the Freedom Index. Here's the 2025 version. You can flip through it and find your legislators' scores. How did they vote on legislation? They will tell you in their town halls that they are conservatives. The Freedom Index doesn't lie, though. It tells you how they actually voted. So I encourage you to go to idahofreedom.org, look at our research, look at our Freedom Index, and then vote better, Idaho.
Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
All right.
Again, Ron Nate from the Idaho Freedom Foundation. He is the president of IFF. I'm Brian Hyde, and this is Nowhere to Hide.